Okie dokie, boys and girls, it is day 4 of Timmy's training, and today we have a push day. However, it's gonna be a little bit different than originally planned. Normally, I would do another push up volume session today, but my chest is still feeling sore from the last workout. I'm not fully adapted yet to the push ups, so it's gonna take a while to recover. However, we are still doing a planche and then a push up session today. It's just going to be a little bit different. So when you're tired, when you're sore, you can still train, you can still work out, and you can go intense. You can add some intensity to it. That's fine, because as long as you're doing straight sets and don't compensate on the quality, even if you want to push yourself by keeping yourself to those two rules, keeping the quality, and doing straight sets, you will make sure that basically even if you do some intense sets or go to your max, you're not going to push yourself to such an extent that you are not able to recover. Because guess what? It's the same thing like when you want to build muscle. You can do a straight set and be tired, of course, but you can make the stimulus even stronger by adding a drop set or by using some momentum or by doing some half reps in the end, right? There are many ways to make a sit to your max even more difficult and going beyond your max. But on trainings like these, where you're still sore a little bit, that's actually what you want to avoid. Usually, it's a good thing. If you want to build muscle, the stronger the stimulus, the better. But today, I'm just going to focus on those straight quality sits to manage my intensity. Of course, on those quality sits, I'm still going to try and go hard. I'm just not going to compensate. And by doing so, you can still train and do a couple sets and still recover, still get stronger for the next session. So that's what I'm going to do today, and I'm going to focus on high intensity. So the sets will be very short, but by focusing on this intensity, I'm giving myself a strong stimulus, and basically the planche will hopefully feel lighter in the future. When I'm feeling better and drop down the intensity to a regular amount. But the way I'm gonna do it for the planche, and then I'll explain the push-ups later on. But for the planche, what I'm doing is just I'm gonna aim for 3 to 5 sets of weighted planche. I'm gonna add 2 kilos to my feet, and basically these are just gonna be probably some holds and presses. But yeah, it's gonna be heavy nonetheless. So let's go. All right, so I record every set obviously, but even if you don't do videos, record your sets and then you can basically watch them back and see what you have to adjust. So for me, I'm gonna try and keep my hips a little bit lower. Oh shit. I'm gonna be able to keep the quality, but hey, if you don't challenge, you don't know. So just one push-up, it's not a long set, it's not gonna make me super tired, so I guess this is within bounds. Yeah, the hold is not happening. I'm gonna try one more though. Let's do some regular push-ups. Okie dokie, so let's do some push-ups, and these are gonna be the Japanese style push-ups, wide grip on the bars, and basically I'm gonna do quality reps, but you're still gonna see that I'm a bit arched, so I will be retracting my shoulders to expose my chest, and this just naturally makes my hips drop down. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some weight. And you might think to yourself, well, if you're adding weight, doesn't the intensity go up? And well, yes, that's true, but in a sense, I am gonna keep the quality of the reps. I'm gonna go do them in a controlled fashion. So in the end, when I'm done with this set, I'm gonna go to my max. I will be in a state where even though I maxed out, I can still do some body weight push-ups. So, if you think about it that way, then actually doing the weighted set is a lower intensity because I'm pushing less far. If I went to my max with body weight, then I would be in a state where I couldn't do any body weight push-ups anymore. But at the end of this set, I will still be able to do some body weight push-ups, because the weight, I can just remove it and go again. But I won't. But you get the point, right? So let's go. I'm going to only do one set, and that's going to be it for today's training. So last effort, let's make it count. All right. Okay, so that's gonna be it for today's training. And at the moment, my chest is screaming to me like, why the hell did you do that? I was still sore from last time, but this effort, this set, a straight set, no real rest pauses in between, just straight all the way to failure and nothing further. So I know at the moment my chest is feeling tired as hell. It was screaming during the set, but I also know that, there is an intensity beyond failure, and I did not do that intensity today. So even though my chest is feeling tired right now, it will be recovered quite quickly. And at the same time, I was still able to get a stimulus for the push-ups that I want to become strong at. So I see this as a win-win situation. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today's training. And I've talked a lot about the recovery part and how to manage the recovery, or how to manage intensity, which is basically how you manage recovery, right? I've talked about it a lot today, but for me, I've really just learned this through training every day. People often ask me why I'm able to train every day, and that's basically because, well, through doing so, I just set a goal for myself at one point, right? Like, just train every day for 30 days, and during those 30 days, I noticed that, hey, if I train every day, you will be better able to gauge how your body recovers. And you know doing so, like gauging how your body recovers, is a skill, and by training every day, you get to practice that skill, that gauging part, managing the intensity. You get to practice it every day. And so these rules that I've laid out for myself, do straight sets, you can go to failure, but don't go beyond, keep the quality. I've set up these rules for myself through basically repetition, right? By training a lot and seeing how my body recovered or didn't recover in the cases that I did too much, I was basically able to, extract these rules from my observations and get to a point today where I can manage my intensity quite well. But yeah, basically, if you want to manage your intensity, you just have to keep training, right? It's simple advice, but it also, like, whatever problem you have in your training, it boils down to keep training, right? And learn from whatever you're doing. But I guess that's a bit of a non-advice. Anyway, that's gonna be it for today's training, and I'll see you tomorrow for, yeah, for what? I don't know. We'll see. I think a pull day, but I'm not sure. It might. I don't know. I forgot.